So there was a question in the Discord about reference letters for EB-1A.
Oh, right, yes, and how to
Yeah.
go about getting them.
Yeah.
That's it's very important. So first off, I want to talk about timing. You should know who's going to back up your case as you're building the case. So it would be nice to mention to people in your network that you're planning on applying for an immigration benefit. Would they be willing to sign a letter down the line? But don't phrase it as if they're going to get that letter right away. Definitely phrase it as a future plan that you are just asking them about and not asking them for necessarily a firm commitment. Like nothing about the early stage reference letter and support is formal and nothing is ready to be finalized. And you should ask a wide variety of people. So don't just ask your supervisors or managers, but make connections higher level in your company. Also talk to your peers at other companies because letters of support from people at your level in other companies can also be helpful. And maintain ties with some academics, especially if you had a connection with one of your professors, even if it was a long, long, long time ago. See if you can volunteer in their class or something like that. And then you have the basis, the connection to then later ask them for a recommendation letter. So that's early stages. And then when you know you're going to proceed with the case, at some point, your attorney or whoever's working the case with you at that time will want you to provide a list and say, these are your references, and you'll kind of work back and forth on that list. It's better to get more commitment at that time, although you might choose to wait for some key contacts until you have the draft letter. You'll have to kind of weigh the timing in your mind there and weigh it against what you know about the relationship, what the person wants, and what would be easy for them. Some firms will have you draft the letters. Other firms like me, we draft the letters just based on information you provide. So it'll be a whole drafting process. But when you give the letter to the person that's going to sign, you should provide them with a full draft. I know I've seen some feedback that occasionally there is someone who gets upset that they've been provided a draft because they don't think it's appropriate. But that has happened so rarely that I wouldn't be afraid of that. Usually the opposite is true. Usually the person who's signing is so grateful. They really want the full draft. And then, of course, they can edit it however they want. They can say whatever they want about you. But just having that to go off of is really important for busy professionals. And then you can go back and forth on content. I've definitely worked with people who were not able to get letters signed for various reasons. Don't take that news too hard. Some of the reasons I've heard seem incredibly silly to me, like not personal at all. One person was very concerned about the legal implications of their signature. And that, I'm a lawyer, so I could see myself advising clients that same advice, but at the same time, I get very upset when people won't sign what they know to be true just because they're worried about some vague future legal implication. Like if something is true, say it. Sign off on it. Lawyers don't have that approach though. So if you are working with like a CEO and the company lawyer wants to vet the letter, you might not get anything signed just because the lawyers are advising. So have some backups because not all of the letters will get signed all of the time, but most of the time they are. If you've checked before early stages and then you've provided a final draft, the process is likely to go much easier.